Oh, that's awesome.
Let's go. Where's our group, Karina?
No, we have to go.
Gooseberry.
Which one?
On the way here. Yeah. Maybe you saw this bell on the highway because this is a bell that shows the route of the King's Highway where the traveling was done as the missions were built. How many missions?
21.
Yes. So Santa Barbara is the 10th mission to be built. It's called the Queen of the Missions. It has twin towers, and you're going to be learning a lot more about the mission. This boy is doing an art sketching job of the mission, and maybe your group will be doing some of that later on. Right now, you're going to enter a piece of history that's connected mostly to the food that was introduced by plants and seeds during the mission period. Does anybody know what years the mission period was? 1860 something to, no, 1760 something to 1830 something, okay? About 225 years ago. So let's head over to our gathering place to get oriented, and then we'll break into our small group. Follow me.
Oh, yeah.
Cold right now, but it's going to get warm. So please, if you want to, I recommend that you leave all your stuff where you're sitting, okay? No one will touch it.
This is like your home base place. This is our gathering place. We're going to come here at the beginning of our field trip for orientation and learning about La Huerta as a group. But soon we're going to break into 4 small groups, rotate around to learning stations, and then when we're finished, we'll come back here for a reflection time for a few minutes to talk about our experiences. So the La Huerta is an example garden. It's like a zoo, but not of animals, of plants. Excuse me, young man on the rock, I need your attention. So this is an example garden. So you might see a small patch of wheat. That's not how much wheat was grown during the mission era. There were huge fields of wheat, like right out by the rose garden. Out in that whole front area of the mission was a wheat field. You'll see a photograph that shows that. So there's docents that have been setting up here to show you and teach you things about the history of the mission and the Chumash at the mission time and their use of plants. and about the internal workings of the garden and the composting and planting, about the seeds and the seed saving, and about the special plants. All of these plants in this acre, this La Huerta garden, were introduced during the Spanish era. The native plants that are here, that the Chumash were familiar with, they were not familiar to the Spanish. The Spanish brought these plants because they wanted foods that were comfortable to them, and they needed some plants to feed the animals that they also introduced, because there didn't used to be those animals here, and they needed to bring and grow the food. So we're going to break into our 4 color station groups and rotate around, and this little bell here will be the signal that it's time to get ready to move to the next station, and we have a flow plan that the adults will follow. The second time you hear that little bell, which is right after the first time, about a minute later, you got to actually move. The first bell means get ready to move, wrap it up, and the second bell means move. And so I'm looking at my watch and I see it's 10 o'clock. So we're going to have about 15 to 18 max minutes per group. And then we will end up here and we will switch with the other class by about 11:15. And maybe we'll need to call that teacher when we realize what time that's going to be, so they'll know to be at the picnic area at that time. All right, my friends, let's invite our docent leaders to come and collect our groups. First, let's have Maria come and take the plant tour group. They're going to start up by the cactus with a piece of paper and a little Q-tip to do something very special with dye. You have a little paper? Good. So I would like one of the groups, not your group, to go with Maria, please.
Okay, let's have the green group go with Maria, Mrs. Hernandez's group.
And Maria's group's going to end up with me after they learn about some of the plants that you're going to be seed saving from. All right? And let's have another group start with my friend Lisa. And she's going to do the garden station that includes composting and planting. Let's have a different color group go with Lisa.
Let's have Mrs. Laza's group, the purple group.
Okay, let's do a line so we can cross and go wash.
And
Okay?
let's have another group start up with my friend up at the top there, Lynn Carmen. And which color? Not your group, but the other group.
Orange group.
Okay?
Mrs. Guerrero's group.
The information on the back of the pad will help you. Orange group, go around the corner and meet up with my friend that's wearing the blue up at the top in the overlook area. Right around up the upper, this way. Abby, we're coming. And my group is going to do seeds and seed saving, and they're going to come with me over to that station. And I would like to invite you to come with me this way. The blooper? Hi. Mrs. Cash's group. We're going to pass by, and our videographer friend is joining us for this tour. We're going to pass by one of the important plants that was not used for food. It's right here. It's called brimcorn sorghum. We're going to learn about this plant. It looks like corn. That's the kind you see in the fields growing for food, but it's got a little different seed head, and it doesn't have cobs. So remember this plant as it is in green. Here, we're going to see it in the California poppy. California poppy. That's our thing. And you'll see some of our it likes California soil. That's why it's our main
Mainly the California Channel Islands. So they're native plants. So we use this soil because those plants don't like the rich soil. The plants that the Spanish brought in on their explorations, they came from South America and Central America. They need richer soil. They from like the rainforest things like tomatoes and
Stake them up, and then let them
So
grow
they
out
need
and
a richer
down,
soil.
up and
So
down,
what we
all
do
over.
is organic
So we're
soil.
going to
Now,
pass by
organic,
the very
that's another word
famous
for
and
living.
important mission
So
of
what would be
olive. What
living?
did they make
What would
from
be the living
olive
things that we
trees?
would say?
Olive
I mean
oil,
plants
and
are
of course
living,
they
right?
can eat
So we make soil from plants.
And We're going to pass by a crop of beans. And a little example crop of wheat. Please lift your feet up. And you'll notice that some of the wheat is still a little green, but some of it is golden brown. So Kevin, would you like to harvest the seed head off of this one? I think it's ready. Just break that right off of there as best you can. Pull it off. Pull hard. You might pull it from down. That's okay. Snap it like this. There you go. Okay. And Yadira, would you like to pull this one? This one looks ripe too. We're going to do something very special with that. And Isabel, why don't you come and find one that you think is ripe, because we need 3 for today's project. Okay, give it a good yank. And follow me past the pomegranates. There's a pomegranate blossom back inside there. And this magnificent sunflower isn't so magnificent, but you're in luck. I have a beautiful picture of it from 2 weeks ago. And we're going to do some seed saving from the seed heads of this particular sunflower. Who's been eating the seeds from the seed head that has very few seeds left in it? Not the bees. They did the pollinating. Yes, exactly, Jonathan. The birds. They've been very busy. If you look down at the ground, you can see that they're sloppy eaters. All the little pieces. See all the little seed cases?
Look at all those sunflower seeds.
They might even have pulled off some seeds that they didn't eat, and that's how sunflowers often get planted. Here's another wheat patch. And mulberry trees. Mulberry trees. A type grows mulberries, berries. And big, this is a mini big, and it's got a little picture on it. This is our plant nursery. And we have some stone fruit, peaches, and we have our apples. Oranges, we have citrus. And I'm going to bring you right inside our tool shed. And then I want you to figure out what do you have in our tool shed besides tools. Come on in, everybody. Right on inside our tool shed. You'll see lots of tools. I want you to look around and what else you see in the shed besides tools. What else do you see besides tools? Yes, Alyssa. You see bananas, and they're ripening, and you're going to get to meet those banana trees in a little while that we just harvested these from. What else do you see? Wheat. Yes, you see the wheat drying, and you just harvested some wheat. This is last year's crop. What do you notice that's not a tool? Actually, these are a little shaped like radishes. This is garlic. Yes, they introduced him. We're growing garlic here, and it's dry. And what about these things?
Those are cantaloupes.
They look like cantaloupes, don't they? They're actually gourds, kind of like pumpkins. And when I have a picture that shows what they look like when we harvest them, they're green. And then we have to let them sit when they're green for a few months till they dry out. And then you're going to get to see what we make out of them. I made a bowl that you're going to get to see this morning. We make things. It's a utilitarian crop. It's something that's grown not to eat, but to use in some way. Okay? So let's go over here and sit at the benches by the table and enjoy doing some seed saving. Oh, by the way, you just walked past a seed bank. Did you know it's not just money that gets saved in banks? Seeds. Seeds in various places all over the world. Let's have you sit in these benches, please. Over around in here. So let's start with the wheat, since you did such a great job of harvesting the wheat. Wheat is a crop that we see a lot of today. It's a staple food. It means we need a lot of wheat because what do we make from wheat?
Bread. Cookies.
Yes, bread and what else?
Flour.
Yes, we're going to make some flour, and from the flour they make bread, maybe wheat tortillas, maybe pancakes, muffins.
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal is from a different grain called oats. But this is the kind of grain that we're going to look at right now, and during the mission era it was an extremely important crop, and we know that this is the exact variety of wheat that was grown. It's called Sonora wheat. This is historically proven to be the one that was grown here and at other missions during the mission period. So let's take a look at what we're going to do. Who has a seed head? There we go. We're going to bring you on in here with your seed head and let you do some smashing. Now we don't have the kinds of mills with big grinding stones. So Kevin, I want you to come up here. Use this rock and smash away. Who else has a seed head? All right, come on over here. There. And smash that seed head so we can get the seeds separated from the chaff. Who has the third one? Right down here. I want you to smash away. Here you go. So what we're doing is seed saving. Good job. Keep going. This is what we're doing right here. This is the envelope that every group is going to have that has examples of the seeds that we're doing seed saving.
Do it like that.
And I'm going to let your teacher,
Turn it sideways.
or let's see, let's have you hold on to that. Good job, guys. Some of those weren't quite as ready as others, were they? The seeds aren't separating so much.
Isabel, turn it the other way. Turn it sideways.
Try this one. It might be a little drier. You know, it was really moist last night. That'll make a difference too. Okay, how's it going? So while they're smashing away, I want you to ask yourselves a question. Why do we save seeds? Why do we have seed saving going on, Julian? To plant. So we have more seeds to plant. Good, that's one important reason. Can you think of another reason why we might save our seeds, girls? Can you think of another reason why we might save our seeds? So we have more to plant. What are we going to be doing with these seeds today? What did I say we were going to make? Flour. So you prepare them and use them as food. You eat them.
Can I find it?
And a third reason that we might save seeds is for the future. Because some seeds have already disappeared from our earth. Some seeds are getting changed. They call it GMO. And some seeds are treated. And we want true seeds that are the way that nature made them, saved, or that people developed them. Thank you, kids.
Nice
Now
job,
what we're going to do...
You guys got a lot of seeding.
We did. Yeah, they worked hard. We're going to let the people at this area blow on this and see if we can blow off the shaft, the light part, and leave behind some of the heavier seeds. 1. Come on, Brian, we need you to blow. 2, 3, blow. Keep blowing. Good. Okay. I'm not hearing... Oh, I hear one. Let's put that seed in the grinder. And now, let's try this one. Oh, I hear some seeds there. Let's have you girls blow on that. So what are you hearing are the heavier parts of the seed head, and you're hearing the seeds. What are we going to do with these seeds?
Grind them?
We're going to grind them. So I'm going to collect them and put them into this modern day hand grinder. And let's see if we have some seeds out of this one. Just a few. Those seed heads that you and I harvested weren't quite dry enough. So I'm glad I have some other ones ready. And now, Dylan, come on up here. We're going to have Dylan do some grinding. This is the hand part. You can move if you can't see, Kevin. And in this little bowl, we're going to watch come out of here some grinding. Go. Let's go the other direction. There it is. See that?
I see.
Okay. Good job. I'm going to let everybody touch the flower. See how soft it is. What are you going to do with this flower? If you were living during the mission era, what would you do with it?
Make bread.
You might make it into a dough of some kind, and you could make tortillas or
How did they
bread.
make the dough?
Did you all get to touch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Turn into flour.
And I'd like you to sit back down now. And we're going to take a seed head and put it in your seed-saving envelope, so you'll have some seeds to save in that envelope. There you go.
Oh, to put inside there.
Yes, right in there.
We have a garden at our school.
I'm so glad because we're giving you seeds and you're welcome to take some. Another plant that we passed by that I told you looked like corn, but it isn't. It was called broom corn. It's broom corn sorghum. And it looks like this when it's dry. And it has little bumps on there that look like baby ladybugs. If you take all those little bumps off, you can make something like this called a broom. This is not something you eat, this is something you use. So this is what we call utilitarian use of a plant that was introduced during the Spanish. There are a couple little bumps on here. Brian, would you pull one of those little seed bumps off and put it in the seed-saving envelope? Thank you. So now we have, here's another little whisk made from broom. And the cordage that ties around is made from maybe a yucca plant or agave. I'm going to pass this around because I want you to feel how strong the fiber is. You see all the fiber on the ends here?
Yeah.
If you scrape all the green part and the moist part off, you end up with a very strong fiber to make cordage. Feel that and pass it on, please. And we'll start this one at this end. Another very important plant, another type of grassy plant. So far we've looked at wheat, we've looked at corn. They're both grassy kinds of plants. Wheat and broom corn sorghum. Now we're going to look at corn. Now the kind of corn that they often grew during the mission era was ground up and made into corn tortillas. And it might be these huge kernels that would grow how many corn? That's one kind of corn that was introduced, and a major one. Another kind was to feed the animals, as I mentioned earlier. Listen, it's hard. It's called fodder corn. And that's not something you and I would eat, or that they ate, the animals ate it. But there is another kind that was introduced that they did eat, called Peruvian white popcorn. You're going to get to eat some of this today, because before I came I popped some. You can see that I took all the kernels off all of those cobs of corn for you.
Oh.
And I took them off like this. And I put them like this. And I put them in a pan with oil, sesame oil, and popped them. Today I'm going to give you some of these. So if you want to grow it like many schools around here are enjoying now, you can grow some Peruvian white popcorn and then you can pop it. It's fun. I've seen it sold like this, where you can buy popcorn and you can stick this in the microwave and pop it. But I think it's really fun to grow this old-fashioned style popcorn.
Teacher?
Here are some pictures that show how corn is being prepared of the variety that's made into corn tortillas and cornbread. Question, Dylan?
Are there still animals alive here in the mission?
They don't have any of the kind of livestock animals here, except at Christmas time. They have a nativity scene and they bring live animals at the front of the mission, and it's worth coming to see during the
I saw
few.
something black run.
Probably a dog or a crow. The crows are big and they're black. Yes, Julia?
How did they make the
broom?
wheat out in olden times?
How do they make the what?
The flour.
The flour, well, they would have big grinding stones at a grist mill, and they might have a donkey pulling one wheel around while it grinded it against another wheel. That is something you could research. There is a grist mill up at the San Ynez Mission and at other areas, not right here, There's something across the street that's the remains of one. I would like to show you, excuse me, this picture, because this shows wheat being harvested out in the front of the mission, and this is an actual photograph. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So we have just a couple other kinds of seeds. I told you we were going to do sunflower, and I told you I'd had a picture. This is the sunflower, I call it a sunflower tree, that you and I passed on our way to this station. And you saw that the birds have been eating a lot of the seeds. Well, this is it a couple weeks ago. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
And I saved one of the seed heads here because I thought maybe you would like to pull out a few seeds and save them and put them in that envelope. I think it might be called a vanilla ice. I'm not too sure. And there's another plant that I really want you to pay attention to. I told you I had a picture of the gourd. And you're going to see things made out of a gourd in other stations, but here's an instrument. Here's a birdhouse.
Cool. That's what the gourds were made out of?
This is a birdhouse made out of this gourd. This is a gourd that has not been dried. Now, when I was your age, I made puppets with puppet heads made out of gourds. And the gourd seeds come in really interesting packages outside. And I'm going to put a couple of these in here. They look like little bugs without their wings. And then the cotton. Oh my goodness, look at this picture here. This is a cotton field. Now we just have about 5 plants of cotton, thank you. But this is a cotton field, and each little white bunched area is a cotton boll. And if I were to pull off one of these cotton bolls, it would look like this. And if I separated it from the pod, you're going to see a gift of nature. You ready? Isn't nature full of beauty and symmetry? That's a seed pod from cotton. Now the cotton that you and I buy might look like this, or maybe you might be wearing some. It's been processed. But the cotton that comes off the plant has bumps in it and lumps. What do you think those bumps and lumps are?
Seeds.
You're right. So I'm going to send some bumpy, lumpy cotton for you to pull out some seeds and feel those seeds. Now I'm going to give the 2-minute warning, and then we'll do our last plant. 1 minute! And then the last one we're going to do is another gift of nature. And I don't know, you passed through Carpinteria on your way here. You probably didn't know, but Carpinteria was at one time the lima bean capital of the world. The place where more lima beans were grown than any other place in the world. Not anymore, but if you go in the museum in Carpinteria, there's a big display and a big mural all about that. Well, we grow some here too, because it was introduced during the mission era. And the one we grow doesn't come in a pod as pretty as the pod from the cotton, but it does have a surprise inside. Alyssa, would you open this pod and find this beautiful Christmas lima bean inside? Wow. Isn't that magnificent, my friends? And you have the joy of taking some of these with you to your next station and planting some, because we harvested last year. So your group is going to plant 3 of these, and I used a little Oreo's nest as my seed holder for these little lima beans harvested from last year. So I'm going to give you 3. I'm sure they're not going to drop them. How about you? Because you're going to plant those as I take you to your next station, but not right at the beginning. First, you got to prepare the soil. So we're going to move on. Oh, by the way, last little message. When I was your age, I grew up on the beach area of Laguna Beach, and I collected shells. In those days, there used to be a lot of shells like there aren't anymore. But these days, you know what I'm more interested in collecting than shells?
Rocks.
Seeds.
Seeds. Yeah, I know.
All kinds, shapes, colors, patterns, and sizes of seeds. I love seeds. I love to look at them. I love to feel them. I like to plant them. And I like to watch them grow, and I like to eat them.
Is that even
The black beans are really special. They are not heirloom to our area, but I'm going to give you a couple just because you might like to grow some black beans too. All right, my friends, let's go to the next station. Time to move! And I'm going to pass you by the cotton and the corn on the way to your next station. Got those 3 seeds we're going to plant? Okay. We're going to go through the garden.